So you have an app idea and you want to publish this on iOS and Android. I know it might seem complicated, but it's really simple. And you might have some question like, which software should I use? Should I start with iOS or Android? Can I just build one code for both? The answer is yes, and I will share with you how you can do this. But you might have other questions like, what is the cheapest way to do this? You don't want to spend $10,000 or $50,000 in order to bring a prototype to life. You just want to create the MVP by yourself. You want to minimize your cost, all right? If it's not the case and you want to spend money, then this video is not for you, because I will share with you like the simplest way to build an app for iOS and Android, the fastest way, and the less expensive way. If you have more money than time, then maybe you should hire someone to publish your application. But if you have more time than money, then this video is perfect for you. So without any more yapping, let's now jump into... This is the entire roadmap you will need to follow in order to publish your own application on iOS and Android. I will share with you all the steps you need to take to have your idea into reality. So let's start with step number 1, how to make your application. First, you need to find a software. You need to find a software in order to build your application. So for this, you have two options. You can go native or you can go both at the same time. What is the difference? Native means that you will build it directly for the platform. So if you want to have an iOS app, you will use Swift and this will build an iOS app. If you want an Android app, you will use Kotlin and then you will have your Android app. But you have to understand that there are some software that can build both at the same time. So you will write the code once, and then it will compile the code, it will convert it into Kotlin and Swift, and then you will be able to publish your application on both stores from one code. Okay? This is my personal opinion. I prefer to do this because I don't really have the time to learn two languages, honestly. And if you just want to publish like a MVP or a prototype, well, you don't need to learn two languages in order to do this. You can learn one language and then you publish both applications at the same time, which in my opinion is really cool. So what is the advantage of one or the other? So if you are like a big company, sometime the big company will use the different thing. They will use Swift and Kotlin to build two different applications because it's like build directly and you don't need to compile the code and convert it inside Kotlin and Swift. And sometimes it get like a little bit more performance. But honestly, the difference of performance is like so minimal that honestly, I don't really care. And it's like, I prefer to go both at the same time. What is the advantage of the other? Well, you just have to code once and not twice. Because yeah, coding twice if you want to build an MVP, it's kind of stupid. Unless you already know how to do it, it's kind of stupid. So what are your options? You can go with React Native or Flutter or any other software in order to build both at the same time. And you have other options like no code. You just drag and drop and stuff. But usually you have to pay a subscription. So we will not talk about this one. And I just don't want you to pay that much money in order to build the application because I understand what you want. You want to build an MVP, a prototype, and you want to spend as less money as possible. And I will share with you how to do this. So if you already know JavaScript, just go with React Native, all right? Because you will understand this in like 5 seconds because it's built with JavaScript. If you have no idea what JavaScript is, then go with Flutter. Flutter is so simple to understand. So let's jump into different tabs. Let's go inside this one. This is Flutter. This is how it looks. After this, we have React Native. This is React Native. If you know JavaScript, take this one. After this, we have Kotlin. This one is to build Android apps. You take it if you want to go native. But if you want to go both at the same time, don't take this one. And finally, you have the Swift. As I told you, this is to create iOS apps. And I will close this also. I have created a video called Easiest Way to Learn Flutter. This is like 3 minutes video in order to learn Flutter and the really big basics of Flutter. So you can see that at this point, maybe at 2 minutes or 2 minutes 50, we have this application on the visual. And for this, it took us 65 lines of code. It's super simple to understand Flutter. You create, by example, an app bar, and the app bar will be the bar at the top. After this, you write an image.network, and you will have your image on the application. And then you just have to publish this app on both stores. So you will see it's super simple. Okay, so this was it. You should watch this video. It will be in the description of this one. After this, another thing I want to show you is the step number 2. How much will it cost you? So once you have decided which software you want to take, which my recommendation would be to take Flutter because I can explain you how to do it. Otherwise, take the one that you prefer. Step number 2, how much will it cost? So if you take any of these softwares, they are all free, okay? So the thing that will cost you money is when you will publish on the store. When you will publish on Apple Store or Google Store, you will need to pay some money in order to be a developer and publish your app. Apple Store will require you to pay $99 per year. The Google Store will charge you $25. I think it's Play Store. Anyway, $25 one time, that's it. The price might change later, but for now, it is this price. Pretty cool. If you want to publish on the Apple Store, you will need to use a Macintosh in order to compile your application and publish it. So that's the only thing that is a little bit whack, but it's the Apple ecosystem, so we cannot do nothing about it. If you don't have a Mac and you have a Windows and you want to publish on Apple Store, first you need to pay. And second, what I will recommend you is to purchase a MacBook Pro 2015. It's really cheap and you will be able to publish your application with that. It's like the minimum you kind of need. Okay? This is what I started with. Anyway, so these will be all the investments you will need to do in order to publish. If, by example, you have a Mac, with your Mac, you will be able to publish on the Play Store and the Apple Store. So that's an advantage. Anyway, let's jump into step number 3. It's steps to make an app. So first, once you have decided which software you want, what you will do is you will install this software. If you take the route of Flutter, you will see that on my channel, I have a video that explains you how to install Flutter on Mac. Because with Mac, you can publish on Windows, you can publish on Google Play and Apple Store, which is pretty cool. But if you want to take another software, which is your choice, you will need to find on YouTube how to install the software. You will see this might be some pain in the ass. But once it's done, then you move to the next step and is to learn the skill. I have a free course on Flutter, how to learn Flutter, on YouTube and also on Udemy. So if you go on YouTube, it's called the Ultimate Flutter Tutorial for Beginners 2025 full course. I will put the link in the description of this video also. Okay? You can watch this entire thing. With this, you will understand how to use Flutter and how to build your app. And again, it's just one code that you learn and you will be able to publish on iOS and Android, which I think is pretty cool. Okay, so that's about it. Enough of blah blah. If you go on my website, fluttermap.com, you will have the same course, but you will be able to have it on Udemy. Udemy don't allow me to put the course for free if it's over 2 hours. So I will share with you on email the link to have the course for free. Okay? It's a coupon code that you will have this for free. If it's no more available on my website, because maybe with time I will forget to update this or I will change my mind, just send me an email. Just send me an email at info@fluttermap.com that you want to have the course, the Udemy course, and I will send you a coupon code. All right? That's about it. All of these links will be in the description. So that's why I suggest you to take Flutter, because I can guide you, I can show you the way in order to learn, and it's all for free. Okay? I don't want your money because I understand how you feel at this point. You just want to build your application, your idea, and you want to spend as less money as possible to build your prototype. So I will not charge you anything. If you want to go with another software, you will need to learn the skill. All right? You can learn on YouTube or Udemy, and that's pretty much it. Next, you will need to publish it. So this will be your path in order to make your application. But I want to share with you a little bit more things. For example, step number 4. What does your app need? Because usually we are thinking, okay, I want an app that do this. But building an application is much more complex than we think. Even though it's super simple to do, the more feature you have, the more complex it gets. So let me share with you a little bit what you need to understand before building your app. So you have the core infrastructure. For example, authentication. Do you need to authenticate your user? Log in, log out, and stuff like this. How do you do this? So for this, you could use Firebase. Firebase have an API pretty simple to use that will allow you to log in, log out, and stuff like this, and have a user account on the cloud. After this, the database. Which database you use? Do you want to save the data locally on the phone, or do you want to save it on the cloud, on a server? So for this, you have multiple options. If you have already a server that you want to use your own server. It doesn't matter. My recommendation is when you start and you build your MVP and prototype, use Firebase. Firebase will have everything for free until a certain limit. But when you build the MVP, you will not go over this limit. Like maybe when you will have like 10,000 people using your app, then they will start to charge you. But if you are going there, it's because your application goes in the right way and you will have money in order to handle all of this later. But for the MVP, I recommend Firebase. Otherwise, use what you want. I don't care. The API integration. Do you need to use any API? For example, if you want to create an application with AI and you want to use, I don't know, ChatGPT or stuff like this that use AI, you will need to use an API. Okay? Local storage, state management, app analytics. That's boring. So let's move to the next step. User experience. Do you need an onboarding flow, push notification, in-app messaging or alert? Do you need the dark mode, multi-language, user profile, settings? There is so much thing that we can put inside an application. And that's what I want you to understand. Sometimes we just have an idea. We are like, okay, I know what I want, but what you should do is you should put on paper everything your application need to do, okay? And then you need to simplify this to create an MVP. Most likely you will need to put monetization because you want to make money with this app. So you can set up in-app purchase, subscription plan. Do you want to put some ads inside your app? Do you want to put a paywall and stuff like this? So with Flutter, with any other stuff, you can build all of this. So it doesn't matter which software you will take, you can build all of this. Next, you have the device integration. Do you need camera access, photo, geolocalization, maps, and stuff like this? There is some stuff that are harder to implement than other. For example, subscription will be kind of hard to implement because, yeah, it's just hard overall. But if you just want, by example, dark mode support, this is super fast to integrate. Notification is a little bit harder. So you have to pick your battles. Next, you have the connectivity and sync. Do you need to have like chat and messaging inside your app? Do you need social sharing and stuff like this? Do you need the offline mode and file upload and download? I'm just telling you everything that you need to think about. So additional utility, crash reporting, A/B testing, and stuff like this. So take a picture of all of this and then decide what will be inside your application, because you will see sometimes we think our application is simple to build, but there is a lot of features. My recommendation is just simplify as much as possible for your MVP or prototype. Step number 5 will be to make it look good. This one is pretty simple. Don't waste too much time on it. So you have options like Figma, Adobe XD, or pen and paper. So I've talked about this, I've talked about this, I've talked about this. So we've talked about this also, which was $25 for the Google Pay and $99 for the Apple Store per year, which is crazy. But anyway, Firebase, this is my recommendation if you need an authentication and database. This is what I start with when I create an MVP. That's good. And now the next is you can use Figma. This will create the application. So this will be drag and drop. It's usually free for all the stuff. I don't think they charge. Anyway, I'm pretty sure you will be able to build this with free. Otherwise, you can use Adobe XD and stuff like this. It will be to create the visual of your application before even coding. Because if you start coding right away, you will code like one thing, another thing, and you will just get messy everywhere. So I recommend to build your application visually first. And once you have everything set up and you know every feature you need for your MVP, keep it simple. Then you can go with the code. So we have talked about this and we have talked about this. Okay. So another thing which is interesting, we'll talk about this later, but anyway. Next, once you have built the application visually, you can go on Pinterest or at the same time pretty much, because Pinterest will be your place where you take inspiration. Because sometimes you will see that when you create your visual of the application, the UI, what we call, you will be like, okay, it doesn't look good. So what I suggest you is to go on Pinterest, write app design, stuff like this, pick an app design that you like and reproduce it, because it will just make your journey much faster. So that's about it. And step number six is things to know. So when you use in-app purchase with Google Store or Apple Store, they will charge you 15 to 30% of the sale. For example, you have a subscription, $99 per year. For the first year, they will take 30% of this. They will take a cut of 30%. So you need to understand this in your business plan. Okay? It's just something that happened and you cannot do nothing about it. So what Spotify did is they removed on the application the way of signing up, because they were losing like 30% or 50% per year on each subscriptions. So they don't allow the user to subscribe on the application directly. You need to go on the website now. So this is an interesting thing to understand. Next, the difference between 30 and 15 is 30% will be like the first year, and the next year they will take 15% only. When I say only, it's like still 15%, but anyway, it's the game, so we have to play the game. If you use in-app payment instead, so the difference is in-app purchase will be, by example, a subscription or something that is virtual, something that is not tangible. If you are selling a t-shirt on your application and the t-shirt arrives to the house of the person, then you can use Stripe, Square, and stuff like this, and usually they will take a cut of 2.9%. Finally, my last recommendation is the flow. So when you build the application, as I told you, an MVP or a prototype, you should follow this triangle. You build, you test, you iterate. And you rebuild, you retest, you iterate. You go like this, and it's a circle. Okay? If you try to build the entire idea that you have in the first run, well, it will take you first forever, because you will have way too much features, and you will not be able to have some sort of user feedback. So you need to test your application on the market, get the feedback of the user, then iterate, change what they ask you to change, and rebuild. So it's an infinite cycle. It's like building a car. The first car was not a Tesla. The first car was horse with you behind it. And after this, they build the first like Ford car. And after this, they build a better car, better car, better car, better car. So this is iteration. Next, when you build your MVP, keep the simplest version of your app possible. So when you take all the feature that you want, this section, just try to take one thing that your app will do and build it. After this, you will publish it, you will iterate, and you will turn the circle like this. And you, for example, this one, you should follow the 20-80% rule. So suggest that approximately 80% of result come from 20% of input and effort. So keep this in mind when you build your app. Don't take too much time to build it. Just remember that 80% of the result will come from 20% of the input and the effort you put into it. Another thing I want to share with you is the Parkinson law. This will help you build your app, because the Parkinson law says that the old adage that work expand to fill the time allowed for it to completion. It's the same thing when you go to school. You know, when you have all the exams, well, for the first 4 months, you will do nothing. And 2 weeks before the exam, you will start studying like a crazy madman. So it's the same thing. If the exam was 1 month later, you will start studying in 3 weeks. So use the Parkinson law to build your application and use the 20-80% rule. And That's everything you had to know in order to build an application. I hope this will help you in your journey. I wish you the best in your MVP, and I see you in the next one. Bye.